What's up guys, it's Rogue here and welcome to an amazing video on the channel. So for today I got you a special video actually. We are going to be rating and ranking all of the deck profiles on in the history of my Yu-Gi-Oh channel. This of course isn't going to be related to Metic success, but instead the fun I had with the deck and sort of the success I did see with it at the time. So I guess it is a bit subjective, I guess is the word. However, this is my rankings of what I think about these decks and how much fun I did end up having with them. So starting things off, we have Infernoids. This is the first deck I ever max rarityed, so it holds a special place in my heart. I think I'm going to put it in the tier 2 category. And when I say just for fun, it means a deck that I'd maybe be open to picking up again. However, I wouldn't be willing to, dedicate the hours needed in tinkering and adjusting ratios for tournament play. I'd just maybe pick it up for a game or two, and then that's about it. That's what I mean for the just for fun tier. Should have probably established that. Rogue is something that I would be open to picking up again. Potentially, if new cards get announced, I would try and potentially make it work and take it to tournament play. Tier 2 are decks that I think are very cool and hold a special place in my heart. Definitely be open to picking them up again. And Tier 1 are pretty much my favorite decks of all time. So, saying Tier 1, let's put goatees there. Absolutely love goatees. I think I have a special place for mid-range control-y type decks. And goatees fit the mid-range category very, very well. And I did take them to a lot of tournaments, a lot of locals. I mean, I never took goatees to a high-end tournament. I did take them to a lot of locals, and I did see a very good amount of success with them in the local level. So they hold a special place in my heart. Same can be said for Exo Sisters. Again, local level, fantastic. Took them to a OTS championship and didn't do so hot. So that could have kind of skewed my ratings of them, recency bias and all that. That was quite recent. So I think for now I'm going to leave goatees above them. Weather Painters is a deck that I picked up, had them for quite a while. I enjoyed them. I like them, the gimmick they have of banishing for cost, and then I moved them on. Simple as that. Same can be said for Magical Musketeers, a deck I picked up, got a profile. I enjoy the gimmick. I like how your opponent can sort of trigger them. I like how your spell are sort of the ammo, and your monsters are sort of the, use your bullets as in the spell cards, and your monsters are sort of your guns. I like that gimmick. If you play with Runic, it's just a first-person shooter, as I call it, because it's all in first person. The Runic cards and the Magical Musketeers, the spells and traps act as bullets for your guns because it fuels their effects. So I like the deck. Potentially, if they got new support, I would be open to picking them up again. They're alright. Sword Soul, another deck I max rarityed a long time ago. When they came out, I picked them up max rarity. Really enjoyed them. They did see a lot of a lot of success is what I'm trying to say in the meta. So never necessarily took them to a tournament because I do enjoy playing rogue decks. I am rogue tier after all. I did see a lot of, I had a lot of fun with them. Someone gave me an amazing offer I couldn't refuse, and I got rid of them. Simple as that. Dual Avatar, a deck that isn't by any stretch of the imagination a good deck. However, it's a deck that I recently have just fallen in love with. I combo with Eldritch, so I guess if I can find Eldritch through at the bottom here, these two sort of go hand in hand. So I'm gonna be nice and put Eldritch up there as well. If it was Eldritch Control or Eldritch Stun, I would probably put it at the bottom of the just for fun tier because you can't really have a lot of fun playing that. The opponent doesn't have a lot of fun playing that, and it's just not a very good deck for me personally. I don't enjoy that deck, but in the spirit of it being with Dual Avatar Eldritch, make sure you do check out that profile. It was fairly recent. I do enjoy these two, and it is tier 2. It does hold a nice place in my heart. Telements, I think, is recency bias on Telements because it's a deck I picked up right after the ban list, the initial hits, and everyone sold their cores really really cheap. Then of course recently we saw a massive resurgence of Telements, which is when I sold my Telements, and I did actually make quite a lot of profit off them. Recency bias puts them in tier 2. Actually playing the deck, I did enjoy them as well, so I am putting them on tier 2 based on how I played with them and that I did enjoy them. They are very difficult to play, which is I think a reason why I didn't keep them on. I just I understand people have been playing Telements a very long time, a lot longer than me. I joined the party very very late, and with that being said, I just don't think I was going to ever be able to close the skill gap. Evil Eye, they hold a special place in my heart. I absolutely love Evil Eye. I love these Tower Dot decks as well. They're just fantastic. Surziel looks insane in Secret Rare. It's just a deck, it has potential. It keeps getting new cards here and there. I see what Konami are doing. However, it's just something that hasn't been able to take the meta by storm yet. Trains, phew, absolutely love trains. And I'm not talking Infinitrack trains, I am talking just pure going second OTK trains. If you don't know what I mean, do check out the channel from years ago. I was advocating for this deck so hard. I played them with the Sky Striker engine, with the Shadow engine. I played them with a bunch of engines, and I absolutely love the deck. Got fourth in a regional with them. That's my pretty much the pinnacle, apart from OTS championship wins, of my Yu-Gi-Oh professional career, I guess you can say. Apart from the OTS championship wins I have under my belt now, the top four in the regional. It was a small regional. There was like 50 people. I got fourth with trains. I went, I think it was 6-1, something like that. So really nice. There was no top cut, so it ended like that. And I got fourth place with pure going second OTK trains. I only lost was to Altergeists, and I think he got like eighth or something, so he did quite well as well. Drytron's first ever meta deck that I picked up. Shout out to Chandler for all the testing he did with me during this time. He must have hated me. He was playing Cyber Dragons at the time, and he was just getting absolutely beaten down every single day, but my guy was a legend and tested with me anyway. I don't really like playing meta decks. Drytron was an exception. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to bring out the Alter Ego. Meta tiers coming out, and it did come out for a while. I played this during the COVID 2020 pandemic. I transitioned from Plunder Patrols into Drytrons. I played Plunder Patrols for a year up to that point, and I enjoyed Drytrons a lot. But Droll is one hell of a card, and I think that is what really stumped my experience of playing with Drytrons, just getting Drolled a lot and not being able to do much. Gimmick Puppets, first ever deck I've ever owned. They will always hold a special place in my heart. I will always rank Gimmick Puppets extremely highly. Top 3 decks for sure, arguably top 2. Don't ask me why. I think it's just because I probably have like 1,000 duels with Gimmick Puppets under my belt. People who were with me when I was growing up know I just played Gimmick. As soon as Gimmick Puppets came out was when I got back into Yu-Gi-Oh! In that XC's era, and I literally just played them for about 2 to 3 years straight. It was insane. And yeah, it was like 5-6 duels every single day, just Gimmick Puppets, just trying to make them work. And it got to a place where I just know the deck like the back of my hand. However, knowing the deck like the back of my hand doesn't mean it's good. It just means you know the deck very well. And unfortunately for Gimmick Puppets, even after they got support announced and there was a very happy Rogue tier, the support just wasn't nowhere near enough. They need their own rank up magic or something like that. But Gimmick Puppets, despite what they lack competitively, they hold a special place in my heart. Generators, I didn't have generators for a long time, probably just for fun. I don't really have much to comment on the deck. Got it for a deck profile, tested it a little bit, took it to locals or two. It was quite fun. This was before they got the new boss monster or the new card recently, so they weren't as good back then. They did just get new support from Eternity Code when I did pick them up. They got that level 4 guy, but nothing crazy. I guess same can be said for zombies. I was playing, I think just for fun is a bit harsh. Just put them in Rogue for Cassius' sake so he doesn't kill me. Rogue is a strong place for zombies. I obviously played the combo version of zombies, which was with the Halka Fibrax line. I enjoyed them to a fair amount, but then Halka Fibrax got banned, and then I just sort of sold the deck from there. I think if it was a tier list in terms of views, zombies would be in like tier 0. They're absolutely insane. They're amazing deck. People's fan favorite. I can really tell the views that they generate. However, for me personally, probably in Rogue. Armed Dragons, same thing as Generators. Never had them for a long time. I only really picked them up because I enjoyed the original Armed Dragons. A bit of a disappointment. They didn't really get much support after the initial wave. They weren't doing anything competitively anyways either. Monarchs, love Monarchs. Definitely. Still own them to this day actually. Max Rarity with the ulti Vanity Fiends and the ulti Kurazes and all that stuff. Absolutely love Monarch. The amount of games you can take off the field spell alone is ridiculous. I think this deck low-key has potential. Lithium Rejoice. Lithium, if you don't know, is a YouTuber that religiously plays Monarchs. Just off the field spell. The field spell locks your opponent out of you summoning monsters from the extra deck. So if you can establish that, and if assuming you're not playing against Flunderees, you can take so many games. Speaking of Flunderees, I didn't really enjoy Flunderees that much. I found them very repetitive, and ending on a Floodgatey type boss monster is just not the way I like playing my Yu-Gi-Oh! However, I did enjoy them more than Armed Dragons, at least. Crystal Beasts, Rogue. I got introduced to Crystal Beasts via the structure deck, so I wasn't an OG Crystal Beast fan. I did see a lot of GX. I didn't. I stopped watching, I guess, when they showed Crystal Beast. I don't know if that's early on or late on. I just saw random episodes that they would show on the weekends. So maybe I saw a couple of season one and even like of the later seasons after. I saw them just. I didn't see them in chronological order. Is what I'm trying to say. And I like Crystal Beast in terms of their very budget. My man Henry, who was a friend that moved away for now from university, so hope one day I get to see him again. He won a OTS championship with Crystal Beast, so I'll put them in Rogue. They hold a nice place in my heart, I guess I can say. Yusenju's just not it. I've owned this deck countless times throughout the years, just mainly for deck profiles, to be honest. And I feel like this deck was what you ended up playing when you couldn't afford Necros, is what I was told. So you'd open the packs hoping to pull Necros and play Necros, and then you'd just end up playing Yusenjus because you only pulled one Brionac if you were lucky. Phantom Knights, shout out to Dewi, who adores this deck. Sadly, not the highest in terms of how I rate the Phantom Knights. I enjoy Phantom Knights, don't get me wrong. I just feel like, the Banishing from Grave is very, very vulnerable, especially with Bestials nowadays. So, yeah, I think Rogue's a nice place for me in terms of how much I like these decks. Remember, this isn't a competitive rating. This is just me personally. I've had all these decks on the channel before, how I personally view them in terms of, how I like them, essentially. And I just wanted to do this tier list because I can. S-Force, I enjoy this deck. Tier 2, really enjoyed it. I like the synergy it has in terms of, everything in its column gains bonus effects. SP Little Knight is a S-Force card, technically, I guess you can say. I wish that, they got an SP-like card for the archetype of S-Force in terms of it's an S-Force card and it locks you into S-Forces. Don't get me wrong, SP is absolutely insane. However, I feel like it could get banned one day, and I feel that's unfair for the S-Force deck because it is, in lore, I guess, an S-Force card, even though it hasn't got S-Force in the name. Tri-Brigades, I enjoy Tri-Brigades. Decent rogue for me. I'm going to try speed this up a little bit as well because we have a ton of decks to get through. I've done so many deck profiles on the channel. But yeah, they were okay. I enjoy Tri-Brigades. I think they're a cool mechanic. You get to cheat out link monsters in a way. You don't need to link them up with materials from the field. You can just use the grave ones. So that's kind of cool, I guess. Dragon Link never really clicked for me. I tried Dragon Link. Just wasn't for me. I think the deck is too big brain for me. I know a lot of people love Dragon Link. And they, it's like a religion for them. Sadly, not for me. War Rocks, I think if this deck ever gets into a tier list in the top tables, it would be for disappointments, for wasted potential, maybe. This deck just isn't it. I don't know what they could give this deck an Engage S card. They could give this deck a Colossus type. Maybe a Colossus type card would do it. But they could give this deck so much and they still wouldn't see the light of day. It's just not a very well designed deck. That's pretty much all I can say for it. Didn't enjoy my time with it that much. Rikas are a very good deck. However, combo, heavy combo, not for me. Too big brain for me, essentially. That's why I'm going to put them in the just for fun. They finally got some hits on the ban list off what felt like 50 years, and I hope that sort of tones down the deck. Don't get me wrong, it's not that I dislike the deck, I dislike that the Sun Avalon cards are not once per turn. Princess, Rogue again, probably top, not Rogue, just for fun. Probably top of just for fun for me. Played them a decent amount. Again, it is a Towers-esque deck. I just, they are better Salamangreats in my opinion. I just prefer Salamangreats. That's what when I'm playing Marincess, I could just be playing Salads. Cyburst, sort of control-y type thing. I should just be playing Salads is what I feel when I'm playing Marincess. The Magistus cards, disappointment. They have Little Alistair, Invoked being pretty much my favorite deck of all time, and this was a disappointment. And just for the amount of disappointment in the game, I'm going to put it on the bottom of just for fun because I can. Lair of Darkness, again, Tribute for Cost seems good in theory. In practicality, very difficult to pull off. Very, very vulnerable. Very, very weak in terms of its protection. Yeah, a lot of potential this deck had, and not much came of it. Amazements. I thought these were going to be the new Altergeist, and I really, really was so hyped for this deck, and then it flopped very, very hard. So because of that, I can't put anything higher than just for fun in terms of the place it holds for me. I want to put it probably above Rika's, probably here. I got the cards, I tested them, I saw how the deck worked. Just, disappointed that it didn't become anything else. This symbolizes Despia branded or branded Despia. I played the deck a decent amount when it came out through the structure decks and through pulling Alubas, luckily. If anything, this is one of the decks I made the most stonks with because I picked up Alubas super, super cheap, and then Alubas became like £100 each, which was really nice. But apart from that, in terms of enjoyment that I got out of it, probably again, just for fun. Prank Kids, I absolutely hate this deck. I've played this deck. I played this deck before the Link 1 came out, and if it was before Link 1, it's actually quite high. Then the Link 1 came out, everyone started playing Prank Kids. I started losing in time all the time. And yeah, it sort of went from a nice deck that I enjoyed, a little pet deck, to a deck I hope I never have to play against again, which is kind of sad. So I guess people ruined that for me. Cleaforts, this is an interesting deck. I picked it up very, very recently, so I wasn't part of the OG Cleaforts. I thought that this deck looked cool. It does look cool in my opinion, like machines coming out like of artifacts, which is sick. And I really hope this deck gets new support in the future. I think this is like a deck that really could benefit from that. They still have Apocalypse Towers, as the original Towers monster, boss monsters and that type are called Towers because of him. And yeah, again, not the best deck. You're not going to win a huge event with it. Maybe win a locals or two. I think this deck is a deck that really could benefit from new cards. Madolche, don't really like Madolche. Fun fact, I picked up like 80 copies of Madolche Angeli when they were £1 secrets. They rose up to £5, and then I sold them all. So, in terms of stonks, tier 0, in terms of how much I enjoy them, not very highly. Just for fun. Probably down here, to be honest. Somewhere there. Cyber Dragons. I enjoy the hell out of Cyber Dragons. Too bad I haven't played Cyber Dragons in years. I have never played Cyber Dragons with Ethereons. That says it all. I enjoyed Cyber Dragons quite a lot. I like the deck. I think it's one of the decks that gotten the most support in history, apart from Dark Magician and Blue Eyes. So much support has gone towards Cyber Dragons, and there's still like that key card away, if you understand what I'm saying. Plunder Patrol. I enjoyed Plunder Patrol. Played them for like a year straight in remote duels. So, yeah, they have a soft spot for my heart. They were missing ships then, they're missing ships now. They're just missing one less ship now. Ancient Gears, I actually think Ancient Gears are tier 1 for me in terms of how much I enjoyed them. They recently got new cards announced, which I am happy, really, really happy for. They seem really good. I might pick up my Ancient Gear deck again and give it a go. I picked it up very, very, I just liked Ancient Gears, and they got Ancient Gear Fusion announced. The card was so expensive. I picked it up, played the deck, sold the deck, sadly, because Ancient Gear Fusions were just going up and up in price. Sold them, made my money back, got a lot of years of enjoyment out of Ancient Gears before Ancient Gear Fusion, and now recently they got new Ancient Gears cards announced, so very, very happy for that. I'm very, very happy for all those Ancient Gear lovers. Black Wings, not so much. Sorry, Reese. I played the deck before, don't like it. Just heavy combo that ends on towers, essentially. Ancient Warriors, again, I played this for a decent amount of time. I liked the idea. I know they kept getting new cards over time. I just felt like the deck was just needing that really, really powerful. It was missing that power card in a way. Ice Jades, top of just for fun. Tried them out with the Brave package. They were interesting. That's pretty much what I can say about them. Ice Barriers, got introduced to them with the structure decks. I know people really love Trishula. Trishula's a really cool card. Too bad Ice Barriers suck at summoning their own boss monsters. So just for fun. Gladiator Beasts, I enjoyed Gladiator Beasts a lot. I think the artwork is sick. Battle Phase deck, which is interesting. Obviously, it was very good at the time. Then I picked it up right before the new support got announced. Picked up the new support and then sold the deck in the hype, which is their theme you will see in, all decks. If they get support announced, I usually pick up the support or sell in the hype. But, yeah. Gladiator Beasts, I got a lot of enjoyment out of them. Vampires, I've always had a soft spot for vampires. I do not know why. I've owned this deck like 3 times now, and I always end up selling it. But they always just intrigue me. When they got new support announced, I knew I had to pick them back up again. This new support helps, don't get me wrong. Just, still missing a few cards in my opinion. Virtual World, shout out to Cameron. He absolutely adores Virtual World. Me, not so much. Probably bottom of Rogue. Deck has potential, don't get me wrong. They could benefit a lot as well. Another deck could benefit from getting new cards. Mutants, I had Mutants for a long time. They never really saw any success with them. They're just missing too many cards, man. They got like 1 card announced in like all of their time of being a deck. Like 1 card, like support card. So they did them dirty. They could benefit from like a Masterpiece-esque card because their boss monsters are already unaffected by stuff, so why not just give them a boss monster that's unaffected by everything? Duelists, did not like them. Got them because they worked well with invoked. Sadly, yeah, not great at all. Cosmos, I really enjoyed Cosmos. So I'm gonna put them. I think bottom of Rogue's a bit harsh. Maybe yeah, top of Rogue. Vampires again. They have that soft spot for me. Probably if I was gonna order Rogue, it'd be something like this. I think it's fair. I love Cosmos. I really hope they get new cards. Shout out to Kyle, who was playing Cosmos and then Eradicator virus me. That was not fun. Dark Lords. I really love Dark. The lore of Dark Lords is insane. I think just for that, I have to actually put it in tier 2, just because the lore. I really love lore. It's something that I would like to bring up in the channel. If you guys agree, make sure you do leave a comment down below. Would you like to see Rogue Tier host some lore videos? Absolutely love lore, and Dark Lords have just so much lore with the solemn cards, and they just intrigue me so much. All looks good, and they play good as well. They got support announced when I was playing them, and as you know, I sold them because of that. Fur hires, I enjoyed fur hires. I ended up with a full fur hire core while I was hunting for engages and for the vampire cards, so that is why I ended up enjoying fur hires more than vampires, which is kind of funny because I was mainly opening the set for vampires. Yeah, fur hires have a special place in my heart as well. I really enjoy them, to be honest. I think, yeah, probably top of Rogue actually. Invoked, undisputed favorite deck of all time, alongside Gimmick Puppets, probably even higher. Just absolutely love Invoked. Normal Summon Alistair is like my dream. If I could do that for the rest of the time, I would. I refuse to play Invoked without having it max rarity because I just like the deck that much, and I'm working towards having that. Once I have in max rarity Invoked, you bet that's the only deck I'm going to play for a long, long time. Sprites, didn't play them for long. I felt the deck was very repetitive, to be honest, so that's why I'm putting it in just for fun. True Dracos. I got a lot of hate playing True Dracos, which is probably why I like them. I found that all the hate actually sort of fueled my like towards True Dracos. I picked them up after the Masterpiece ban, and yeah, they weren't very playable. They're still not very playable. They feel very clunky nowadays. But you know, I enjoyed True Dracos for the short time I played them. Thunder Dragons, just for top of, just for top of just for fun. Colossus is one hell of a card. Only ever really owned the one because they were very expensive at the time. So yeah, didn't play them properly, I guess you can say. But yeah, they were okay. I didn't, fusion decks usually have. I have a thing for fusion decks. Not so much for Thunder Dragons. Dark Worlds, don't like them that much. They hand loop people. It's a bit degenerate just for fun. Dinos, there are a lot of dino lovers, don't get me wrong. Just not for me. I'm not that much of a dino lover. ABCs. ABCs are definitely tier 1 for me. Adored ABCs. After Gimmick Puppets, I moved on to ABCs, and I played ABCs for so many years. It was fantastic. Salmon Greats, top 3 decks of all time. We have Salads, Gimmicks, Invoked. Oh, does Trains go? Maybe Train goes above Salads. Maybe. But these 4 decks definitely are a cut above the rest in tier 1. Everything else is sort of just there, Well, we have the Machinas, sorry. No, and yeah, not really for me. Sky Strikers, I enjoyed them decent amount. Probably Rogue, to be honest with you. Altergeist, again, Rogue. Deck was alright. Unchained, I played Unchained a lot, to be fair, before the support came out, before they were meta, so I'm definitely going to put them in tier 1. Probably ahead of ABCs, to be fair. So that's Fluffles. Always liked the artwork of Fluffles. Too bad that I've never really had the deck for too long to actually tinker with it for long enough to find a good build. I think top of Rogue is reasonable. Shaddolls is a difficult one. Probably tier 2, to be honest, is where I'll put them. But for the sake of the video and being able to drag decks, I will keep them in Rogue for now, and I'll move them towards the end. Rescue Ace, probably here, tier 1. Won a OTS championship with them. Absolutely adore the deck. We have Trap Tricks, shout out to Callum, and shout out to Cassus, not for me though. Dream Mirrors, again, interesting concept, probably in Rogue. We have Valkyries, I did not like playing Valkyries. When I had Valkyries, I did not like them that much, to be honest. Ninjas, same can be said. didn't really like playing ninjas. Felt that they were a bit too slow and relied on your opponent a bit too much. Vikings, I just picked up Vikings, so it's too early to tell if I will enjoy them. But I think for now, if they are going to become a tier 1 deck, I should say, in terms of me liking them. However, I'm going to put them in tier 2 for now, but I'm just going to leave them in the rogue so I can pick up the last deck from the bottom of the screen. Pearly's top of rogue for me, and I'm going to adjust. I'm going to put Fire Kings probably here, and then Shalol's probably there. So this is the complete list of decks that I have played on the channel. All these profiles are up live on the channel now. Make sure that you do go check them out. And if you do enjoy this type of content, I thought this was an interesting video. Give you my experiences with all the decks I've ever played on the channel, and give you my sort of rankings and how much I like the deck. Obviously, Invoked is amazing. Special place in my heart. Same for Gaming Puppets. First ever deck I own. Salads. Everyone knows me as a salad guy. I just played Salads for that goddamn long. Trains. No one ever respected trains, which is why I like them. They were like the definition of rogue, if you could even call them that. And I won an OTS championship. Not an OTS. I topped a top 4 regional with trains. And Airlifter, in terms of representing Rescue Ace. This my most successful deck, I guess, of all time. Many locals, many events, OTS championships with Rescue Ace. So they hold a special place in my heart. So that is the end of the video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed my take on all the decks I've ever played and showcased on the channel. And make sure you do leave a comment